Alright guys, we're recording now, so this is all live. I'll try and explain to you roughly what Spit It Out is. It's a way of proving we can do things in one take, and tonight's kind of what we're going to try and do with that. So we're going to try and put on a few singers, rappers, and poets all in one go. The first person we're going to bring up will be Farida, and yeah, basically, if you've got any feedback afterwards when the show's over, feel free to ask us and we can all exchange details and talk more on Twitter. But yeah, I hope you really enjoy the show.
Hi everybody, my name's Farida and I'm a spoken word artist. I'm going to be doing 3 poems for you tonight, and I'm going to start with a well-known one which I've done for Spit It Out called Peter Pan. I think I'm finally beginning to understand that we're living in a generation flooded with Peter Pans, scandalous little boys that believe they can fly. But the truth is, they only fly when they're high. Never aging, their mentalities of a child. Grown men imprisoned in their youth. They choose to be there as it removes them from the truth. They fear responsibility. Sacrifices they are forced to make result in irrational hostility. So many grown men fighting to be Peter Pan, leader of the Lost Boys, but too frightened to be a man. Playing with life like it were a worthless toy. This cycle continues to their offspring, and they create more Lost Boys. Confused little girls not understanding what a man should be. Their fathers were Peter Pans, so they had nothing to teach. Defeating urbanized Captain Hooks. They claim they're hustlers, but we call them crooks. They live in a fantasy in which they never grow up internally. Peter doesn't appreciate the things that he should cherish. His characteristics, nasty and selfish. Having children, then expecting the state to pay, while he smokes weed and computer he plays. Peter barely knows his parents. We're surrounded by so many lost boys that were never really raised by their parents. Creating children, then transforming them into a commodity. Enjoying the beauty, but ignoring their duty. So Peter became confused. No role models, but living with constant abuse. I guess this is their defense mechanism to stop them from feeling so worthless. Their childhood was the happiest. That's when life hurt less. Our ghetto Peter Pans don't progress. They remain stationary, creating further mess. It's a pity, because Peter could have been so much more, but he refused to grow up, so his spectacular destiny was ignored. Thank you. The next poem I'm going to do for you today is called Traffic, and this is it's a metaphor. Traffic is used as a metaphor for the things that we have in life stopping us from progressing, so I hope you enjoy it. I feel like I've been living my life in traffic. As soon as I'm moving forward, I'm prohibited. I was the driver diverting from it. Intersections regulated by signs, but it was the red lights that had me confined. I'm watching while drivers take turns trying to guess each other's intentions. Deals from flashes of eye contact, scheming ways to escape this deprivation contract. It's a silent dance that's aiming to defeat. Our streets reign with rivalry as we're all hungry to eat. So we submerge solitarily in our cars, taking no passengers because we're forced on roads that have no grasp. Seized in the system which is conspiring against us. Blindly conditioned to behaviours of our forefathers. Surviving in the deprived part of a welfare state, we start to treasure the things that the rich man hates. Misleading signs and contradicting traffic lights. Red, amber, green, flashing so fast. The ghetto has endless no-go zones. Transportation signals that have no control. Hybrid communities judged by the imperial past. Social beliefs different to the upper class. Because most of the guys I grew up with had little to believe in. Many girls abandoned, so only trusted in their fucked up surroundings. The rich get richer while the poor continue drowning. So fear cheats many of us out our dreams. Countless remedies, but pain refuses to go away. Accustomed to it, so we make the same mistakes again. If the world makes way for those that know where they're going, what if we can't reach our destination because of the way the traffic is flowing? But you know what? Nothing's changed. It's always been functioning like times past. Illiterate human beings following social chains of command. So right of way is a matter of status and not fair play. And I guess we are to blame, because we acquire faster cars without knowledge of how to play the game. Sitting in traffic, because there's no space to change lanes. I try and heal my soul, but I can't silence my brain. Too many times I've been trapped in traffic jams. Traffic that's been seizing my plans. So many stop signs, but hardly any go. So when I hit the road, I started speeding and didn't even know. Racing fast because I needed to catch up. Even in a banger, I refused to give up. So you know what? Fuck what life gave me. I refuse to lose my way. No matter how many back roads I take, my journey's end is my fate. Trying to reach my destination, there's going to be many cars in my way. Some forcing me to get road rage. But I'm caught in a traffic jam, and I have the option to go hard or go ham. So I ride through the traffic and stop at the stop signs. But they don't have me confined, because my engine was always in drive. The traffic may delay me, but I put my foot on the gas and reach my destiny. Thank you very much. That's traffic. Thank you, guys. The final piece I'm going to do for you tonight is a piece called Get Out The Ghetto. This is a very personal piece to me. I wrote it about 2 years ago when I was going through some really, really tough times in my life. And I felt like it was my voice to express the things that nobody else was hearing. So here's my version, and I hope you enjoy it. I've got to get out the ghetto. A congested urban space for people surviving below the poverty line. A place of high crime, unemployment, and failing schools. A cycle of deprivation that can be so cruel. Surrounded by screw faces, bubbling anger, and minimal positive thoughts. Confined to live here because of custom or lack of choice. Because down the road where the big houses are, we have no voice. The corroding tower blocks that loom over our hazardous streets, forcing us to constantly be on our feet. No role models to follow. I've got to get out this ghetto. They stare at me with revulsion as I penetrate through their shattered doors. I come from the same struggle as them, only to be lessened by their internal flaws. I can see their minds working. They think I'm capable of so little. They've already signed my underclass committal. I never knew how powerless I could be or feel. My own people cause my heart to fluctuate, and to the system kneel. I feel to scream, you're all like me, but yet you're stepping on me? I'm a human being, not just another fiend. A little bit of power makes insecure people feel like kings, lions of the slum, the ghetto that we are all trapped in. Poisonous minds now, they're sitting on a false throne. Another reason why I've got to get out this ghetto and find a real home. I'm trying to move to the other side of the borough, to add 5 years to my life expectancy, to give my children the chance to thrive and have a spectacular destiny. I want them to really live, not just survive. I don't want my daughter to become some waste man's baby mum. I don't want to go to jail to visit my son. But the ghetto is polluted, and I'm forced to inhale the fumes. The streets, they breed a different type of need, a different kind of greed. Pessimistic and unrealistic dreams, promised by the aspirations of a society where the divide between rich and poor is much greater than it seems. He can't feed his kids, but he's got fresh crepe, a drawer, and a brand new trim, chasing down his next victim to breed so he can become the king of his ghetto dream. Because this materialism gives him meaning to his otherwise empty existence. The streets are as fragile as Lego. I just know that I've got to get out this ghetto. I'm working and paying taxes and trying not to abuse the system. But the system is abusing me. It's suppressing me, breaking me, belittling me. See, no one told me that the system only works against people like me. I don't talk right, my skin ain't right, and into their world I have no real insight. I'm from the ghetto, and that's where they put people like me. I feel like giving up and becoming another statistic. Stereotypical single mum living in a council flat and surviving on welfare benefits. I know I'm capable of so much more, but I'm constantly at war because the ghetto won't let me go and mainstream society won't let me in. So I lay here in my ghetto, divulging in my ghetto sins. There's always been a system in place to create suppression, segregating society so dictators can have a herd of whores that don't ask any questions. Knowledge is power and I got way too much. I educated myself about my history, colony, and the ills of our society. And now the demons of my knowledge are constantly haunting me. My ideology has been created from exposure to the extremes. I lived in the ghetto and had to watch misery and broken dreams. Crackheads walking street next to school children. A cycle of children having children and not knowing how to raise them. Drugs, poverty, misery, stress. The ills of the ghetto, a community in a mess. But I try to rise, no matter how low the destruction around me makes me go. I gotta keep fighting, because I gotta get out this ghetto. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. I'm really happy to be here and be one of the first to perform at Kev's Spit It Out event. This is a really, really good event, and thank you all for coming down. You can follow me on Twitter at Farida Momtaz. I'm going to have to rush off because my son is sick, but I will definitely be here at the next one, and good luck to all the performers. You've got a whole room full of talent here, so thank you very much.